Psalm 120. God answers. I love the game Telephone. I bet you've played the game at some point in your life, or have heard of it at least. And maybe you've had experiences like I have. People goofing off and saying silly, goofy other things, and they pass it along, and it's just something random and different and funny. Maybe you've had other people just change it on purpose just to kind of be, I don't know, more antagonistic and not want to play the game. And then you have those more like me where I'm intense. I want to get it all the way to the end and see if we can make it happen. And I think sometimes we think of prayer like that. That God's that guy. God's that guy that's goofy, changing things. You know, you start the prayer, you're saying it, and God's just like changing on you, or changing it because He just wants to mess things up, and so we respond in ways that are we're frustrated or upset or hurt or blame Him because He's not the guy that's so intense. But then there's sometimes where we view God as so intense about telephone or about prayer that you have to pray the right way or a specific way, and that's the only way that He's going to hear you. As we look at Psalm 120, I think the thing that I noticed the most, just the honesty of approaching God. I think as this person wrote in distress of people lying about him, people wanting to just fight and cause arguments, and all he wants to do is have peace. All he wants to do is live at peace amongst his friends, his family, his neighbors, in his city, at the workplace. Like, it just feels like he's so overwhelmed by people just angry and causing war and tension and fighting, that all he wanted was peace in his life and with other people. And so he prayed. It led him to approach God in prayer. And I love it because the way that he ends it in verse 1, he says, and he answered. That God answered him. I think many times we think, as I said in the game of telephone, that God's the one that's messing things up. But you know what? I think He's the one that answers, and He is the one that answers, just not in the way that we like. Not necessarily in all the ways that we hoped for. But there's been many times in my personal life where I've seen God answer, even being here as a pastor at Shoreline Community Church. Like, He answered that. It was a prayer saying, God, show me what path you have for me. And He directed my steps. He helped me get there. He answered me, but it was difficult. It wasn't the way that I wanted it to be answered. I had to do construction for a period of time. That wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. Getting up early, 4:30 in the morning, trying to get there. It was a crazy time, but yet God answered. And I look back at that and I'm just amazed that God would even answer a prayer, even as just with a job. And so I started thinking about, well, what about Jesus? Where's Jesus in all this? And I thought about Jesus' prayer on the cross. Typically, I don't think we think of it as prayer, because we think of prayer as having to be done this right way or this specific way. But yet it's just basic communication with God. And he was praying to the Father. And he asked the Father to help him. And this is what he says. In Matthew 27:46, he says, and about the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? It's an amazing prayer because prayer is as simple as just talking with God. And we make things complicated and difficult and hard in regards to what we think prayer is. But Jesus just cried out in agony and pain, seeking the Father, asking Him to not forsake him, as he was experiencing God the Father's wrath upon him because of our sins, not his. And I think about that, I think, wow, did God answer him? Did the Father truly answer Jesus? Yeah, He did. Well, you might say, well, John, he died. He experienced all that pain. Yeah. And did God answer him? Well, you know the story about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, that he rose 3 days later. Then you realize, hopefully, maybe this is an aha moment, that God the Father answered Jesus and did not forsake him. To be dead for all eternity, to be eternally separated from the Father forever, God answered his prayer. He rose, he gave him life. And that's truly amazing, because God answers. I'd love to hear maybe a prayer request God answered to you. Something in your life that you've seen God answer your prayer. I'd love for you to just comment below, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're watching this, that you would just comment and talk about a time that God answered a prayer for you. And if you ever have prayer and you need someone to just pray for you, we'd love to do that. You can email us, call us at shorelinechurch.com. Go there and you can click on the little links down at the bottom of the page. Email us, call us, whatever. And we would love to just pray for you. But please, comment below. I also have a song listed in the notes. It's entitled Peace, because that's what he was asking for. And I think we need a lot of peace today. And so hopefully you learned something. You see God show up and God answer. Well, until tomorrow, I'll check you later. Bye.